Hello everyone, this is Blue, and as you can see, I'm on my new build. This is my new BLOODREND BOSSRAID build, and today I'm gonna showcase it and show you some techs and stuff, some combos that I have on this build. So this build is honestly one of my best cooked builds ever, I think, and I'm gonna show you why. So first of all, basically all of my mantras do around 70 to 90 damage. Of course there are some exceptions, but in general that's mostly the damage of this build. Second of all, I have corrupt payback with a guaranteed way to get my blood back. And third of all, my stats are so optimized that I get the new Against All Odds talent from Willpower that makes me do more damage the more combat tags I have on me. I have Manipulator if you want to run Mantle of Enmity on this. And I also have the 95 BLOODREND for a lot of synergies with block breaks, which I will show later. But yeah, if you want to see my stats, if you want my builder link, I will put it in my description. And also, since all of the BLOODREND talents are 40 BLOODREND, 40 other attunement, I will upload a lot of other variants that you can make with this build, which are basically infinite, because you have infinite possibilities with the attunements that you go. But yeah, let's get into showcasing some techs. So as you can see, as I showcased earlier, I have two talents that let me get my blood back. Those are well, first of all, Donation Drive, which replenishes some blood when I consume Charm, so when I activate Manipulator. I have the other one, which is, let me look for it. Oh yeah, Blood Transfusion. Successfully landing a critical attack while under a negative status effect will transfer the effect plus recover a small portion of your blood bar. So this is the other one, and then I also have Sharing is Caring, which makes me drain more blood against my enemies when they're charmed. So what these three talents do is basically make me unable to ever run out of blood. Because as you will see, I'll just consume a bit of my blood here. 2 bars. So to activate both of those talents, I have Rising Flame, which both charms my enemy and puts flame on them and on me. So if I do Rising Flame into my crit, you can see I get instantly my blood back, and that procs both Blood Transfusion and Donation Drive. The second tech that I have is that since Donation Drive and Blood Transfusion are on 2 different cooldowns, I can basically proc Blood Transfusion, or sorry, proc Donation Drive again before Blood Transfusion comes off of cooldown. So when the Blood Transfusion comes off of cooldown, I can just do my crit again, and I get basically infinite blood in an infinite loop. As another perk of going BLOODREND, you can also get overhealth on your criticals. So as you can see, this is overhealth. If you don't know, it basically takes priority over your health for damage. So if I, for example, damage myself with flames, you can see my health isn't ticking down, but my overhealth is. And now, as you saw for 1 tick there, I took some damage. So that's another thing. And also, if you want, you can also spam Sow and Mend on this build, because of course you have the way to get your blood back. Of course you still lose some, you have to be careful with Sow and Mend, but as you can see it gives you a lot of overhealth, so if you want you can use it. But yeah, other synergies, I of course have the Scorch Blood talent, which I'm gonna read the description to you. It says, guard breaking your opponent using a BLOODREND mantra causes a blood explosion, setting your opponent on fire and poisoning their blood. So that is also another synergy, and for that I have a special gem on my blood edge, as you can see it on my gem, which increases my pusher damage done. And on that note, I will go on to explain my mantras. So my mantras are, first of all, Razor Blitz. This is really good. It counts as a flourish, so it procs all flourish talents if you have any. But I mostly use it to proc flame, because as you can see, if I use it, actually it doesn't do it, but usually on players it procs flame because of the flaming flourish talent. Then I have, this is a bloodless gem by the way, no modifiers. Blood edge, as I already said, I have a might gem on there, just to increase the posture damage that it does. You can basically almost always guarantee it hits block by just doing this. If you know what a great cast is, you just great cast this, and it usually lands on the block, and it does like 40% posture to someone with 38 posture. Then I have Sulfur Siphon, Insignia gem on this. Also really good damage mantra, and I have an Insignia on it, just so that later I can do, after it I can do Crimson Surge or Razor Blades or whatever. Then I have Rising Flame, 2 Strata Stones on it, Blue Gem. I have only 3 Erudition. If you want, you can go 6. But since I only have a 3 Erudition, I can't really go a really expensive Rising Flame. But also the cap on Rising Flame should be 2 Strata Stones. So this, just for the down slam. The down slam also heals you, because this build gets Phoenix Impact. Then I have Crimson Rain, really good Vol Catcher, just a really good mantra overall. If you hit all of the daggers, it does 60 damage. You can pull it back, and I have Bloodless on it. Then I have Crimson Surge, Blast Gem on it. You just want to spam this as much as you can. Why, you may ask? Well, simply because it does 120 damage if you hit all the 3 procs. That's basically the whole point of this build. Then I have Flame Leap. I have a reversal on this, but you can run it with no reversal if you want. If you want to do more down slams, I would recommend running it with no reversal. I just use it for movement usually, so I just have it with reversal on it. Vicious Ascent, Insignia Gem, also really nice. Works really well in ganks, doesn't work really well in 1v1 scenarios, but if you just do Vicious Descent into Crimson Surge, that's a true combo, and that's basically 200 damage. And then I have Rhythm Advance, of course, full damage cancel, even though I already have Flame Leap, which also cancels your fall damage. But Rhythm Advance also gives iframes, so I just use it to move around the battlefield. And it also does 50 damage as a bit of a bonus. And last of all, Flame Wisp, max modifiers, just a good way to heal. I don't even need to run Blood Wisp just because of the insane blood regen that I have already with the critical. And lastly, I wanted to just talk about the weapon for a bit, the weapon choice. So as you can see, I'm running an Iron Spear. Iron Spear does slightly more damage at 0 medium than an Iron Tusk, so I just chose it for that. And then, of course, as you can see, my enchant is Seer. This guarantees me basically a 70% penetration buff, because as you can see, I have base 34% mantra penetration from my Prophet's Cloak and the Song Chant. And then if I hit 1 or 2 criticals, I max out my penetration stacks, and I just do basically almost true damage. So that's why I'm running Seer. You can also run Grim, which is another really good enchant. As you can see, if you down slam into the critical, it's always true, and the critical on Trident Spear always procs Grim. So after you proc Grim, you can just go in with mantras, and as you can see, they do more damage, 20% more damage. So that's another idea. The last thing you can run is this Curse of the Authoritative, which basically, if you hit criticals, you can see that particle. That means that your opponent takes 50% more posture damage, and it just makes it way easier to block break them. So if you really want to, capitalize on the fact that this build gets Scorch Blood, you should probably run this enchant right here. But yeah, that's basically all for the weapons, build, talents, and mantras. So I'm just gonna pass on to some combos, and you can see how much damage this build does.
What is this? Just